Coming up on today's show, we're going behind the scenes at some of Cleveland's most iconic destinations.
We're exploring museums, archives, diving into animal encounters, and we're getting an inside look at your favorite Cleveland sports teams.
And it all starts right now.
Behind the scenes that is taking us way back in time. We are here at the Cleveland Museum of Natural History. I have Dr. Caitlin Colleary joining me this morning. I am so excited to be here. We're in the sub-basement level of the museum, right?
Yes, we are.
Where all of the collections are held. So you're really getting a cool behind the scenes look. Before we show them some of these really unique things, what makes this collection that you guys have here so special? What will we see?
So the majority of the vertebrate paleontology collection is stuff from northeastern Ohio. So I think probably like 70% of it is from this area in particular. So we actually get to look back in time in this place exactly where we are and see what was living here a long time ago.
It is honestly really neat to think about, but I'm also glad that we weren't living when these certain things were around, because this guy was one of them, right?
Yes.
How many years ago did he exist, and who is he or she?
Yes, 360 million years ago. This is Dunkleosteus, and this was a fish that was swimming around right here in northeast Ohio when we were the ocean.
Wow. Now, what makes it different than maybe other, aside from the massive size that we would have found here? What makes it unique?
So this is only the skull. We actually only find the skulls, so we don't know exactly what their bodies looked like because their bodies were cartilaginous. So you can see this is a pretty big head, and this was a really, really strange fish. So this is a hinge right here in its skull. And so, like when we open our mouths, we just open our lower jaw and it goes down, but this fish could actually open its lower jaw down and hinge its head upwards, so it could open its mouth really, really wide.
And what about the teeth section here? I mean, I see two in the front. Are these also the teeth back here?
Yeah, and so they're not actually technically teeth. This is one of the first animals that had jaws, and so it was kind of experimenting with making its own teeth. So when it opened and closed its mouth, it sheared its jaw bones, kind of like a pair of scissors, sharpening them, and that basically turned into teeth.
Okay, again, glad we weren't living when this guy was roaming around. All right, now how about, there's something in here, right?
Yes,
that you wanted to show us?
So this is the skull of Nanotyrannus. So this is pretty controversial in paleontology still to this day. It was discovered in the 1940s by the curator here at the time, David Dunkel. That's actually who Dunkleosteus is named after. And he was walking through a creek bed, kicked a rock in Montana, and here was a skull.
What?
And there's been debate ever since then if it was actually a juvenile T-Rex, so just a little T-Rex, or if it was an adult of a very small tyrannosaur. So it was a totally different species altogether, and we still haven't been able to figure it out.
Well, it takes a lot of time, clearly, to do that, right? Speaking of taking a lot of time to do something, we have something in your lab.
Yes.
That you have to see before we wrap up this segment, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
All right, so I'm very excited to show you this. This is a block of dinosaurs that we have.
Whoa, a block
yes.
of dinosaurs.
Yeah, so this is what it looks like when it was pulled out of the ground, and we wrap it in plaster like this to collect it. But this is basically a pile of at least a dozen dinosaurs that all died together at the same time, probably in some sort of flood event. They got buried, and now you can see all of their skeletons.
Were they little dinosaurs?
Yeah, they were early theropods, and so they were probably about this tall.
So that's okay.
So little.
It still would scare me.
Yes, definitely still terrifying. And they like roamed in packs. They had very sharp teeth. You did not want to run into them. And this is from Ghost Ranch, New Mexico. And this is one of just a few, actually a few blocks that exist. And we can learn so much about these dinosaurs because we have so many of them. So when this was collected, it was entirely covered in rock. So it was painstakingly cleaned in between all of the bones. And it took them about 10 years to get this all looking like it is now.
So again, again, what we are showing you today are things that you haven't seen on the floors of the museum yet, but you will, because how many, you have millions of specimens?
Yes, millions and millions of objects at the museum, ranging from paleontology to biology to archaeology. We have a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff for them to go through, and a lot of things for us to still explore. So even if you've been here time and time again, you got to come back because you never know what you might see.
Yeah, and we're putting a lot of new cool stuff on display, so it's going to be really amazing.
I'm excited. I thank you for bringing us down here. This is so unique, right? I love it. Thank you, Dr.
Of course,
Caitlin.
thanks for coming.
Appreciate it. Still to come, how they keep those paintings at the art museum looking pristine. Welcome back to New Day Cleveland and our behind the scenes show. We all know and love the Cleveland Museum of Art, but what does it take to care for all of that artwork?
Well, we had the chance to talk to those in charge of keeping things picture perfect. Take a look.
I am the preventive conservator here at the Cleveland Museum of Art. And what that means is that I'm thinking about the preservation of our artworks from a material science basis. So what are we going to be able to do here at the CMA to make sure that we're keeping things from degrading or deteriorating? And how can we present them in the best light to our audience, make them accessible to folks to study and learn from, but to make sure that they're going to last for future generations of Clevelanders to enjoy. Different materials degrade in different ways. So some things, such as textiles or certain works on paper, are really sensitive to high light levels. And other artworks, like metals, are really sensitive to corrosion that can happen when humidity gets a little too high. So we're thinking about what does that specific artwork need in order to remain stable, and what can we do to provide that environment. A test that I focus on here is a process called the ADI test. And it's a way for us to determine whether the materials we use in proximity to the artwork are gonna cause some of these corrosion products to appear or cause any sorts of chemical decay to happen. So what I do is I have a small jar, and any material that we might want to use in proximity to the artwork is going to get subjected to this test. I put it into one of these jars with some water to humidify the system, and there are metal coupons that we test the material with. I have an analytical testing oven here in our laboratory in the conservation wing, and I can put it into a heated environment for about a month to simulate that aging process. And then at the end of that month, I'm able to take out the metal coupons I use, and I can analyze whether there's been any color change to the silver, the copper, or the lead coupon, see if any corrosion products have formed, and that's going to clue us in to different sorts of volatiles that might be present in the material that we're testing. We have some projects that might just be a light cleaning, and it can range all the way to like a full reconstruction project. So there are things that may come to us in pieces and they need to be put back together. It is wonderful to be a part of the process and to be a part of the group of people that work together to make sure that everything at the CMA stays safe.
I basically prepare all paintings for travel and for installation in our galleries. I also do frame restoration. I make new frames. I'm a gilder. So someone requests a work of art for loan, and it goes through this whole process where the paintings conservators have to get the painting and do an examination and to see what the requirements would be if it would travel, or can it travel safely? Is it stable enough? Does anything have to happen to the painting itself? Stabilization, consolidation, same with the frame. If it needs plexiglass for travel. After the paintings conservators tell me the requirements, the first thing I do is examine the frame and see if anything is unstable or loose that needs consolidation. And then I have to make a spacer that's a custom pieces of wood that would actually keep the glass off of the painting. And then everything gets wrapped in this Velara foam. It's a very soft foam. Anything that comes in contact with the painting would be touching foam. And then I have to put a backing board on that protects the back of it and keeps all the dust from accumulating in between the canvas and the stretcher bar. And then there's mending plates that hold it in and hanging hardware. If it's a painting that's on wood, it's usually more sensitive to any kind of environmental fluctuation. So we have to put it into a climate vitrine. And this is a sealed package with a material called ArtZorb that will basically keep the relative humidity stable within the vitrine. Someone has to take care of it, and it's kind of nice to be a part of that system. So to go ahead and clean and take care of all these frames and repair them, but also to create new frames for the collection, it's pretty great. I mean, it's kind of the best gig for any gilder, I think.
You can visit the Cleveland Museum of Art any day but Monday. Plus, general admission, Mossman prices, they're free.
I like that. And here's another behind the scenes look. I had a chance to check out the scoreboard operations with our Cleveland Browns. Check it out. Welcome to Cleveland Brown Stadium. I know this is not a telecast or a broadcast or on the radio. It is back here behind the scoreboard. And I'm with Kyle, who is, well, let's explain it like this. Browns, they're a team. They've got the draft, they've got all these great players, everything going on here, but you represent a whole nother team here behind the scoreboard, don't you?
We do. We have a team of about 60 people that work on our production team to help put together the in-game entertainment and experience, and that's a whole team within the team that helps the home field advantage.
Helps the home field advantage. So I wasn't thinking about that when I came here today, and I actually saw there's a set of rules on the wall to tell you what you're supposed to accomplish. So when you come in and you start putting this together, what's in the forefront of your mind behind the scenes, behind the scoreboard?
Yeah, we want to give our players and our coaches the best opportunity to win, and a big part of that is keeping the crowd loud and making sure this is a difficult place for our opponents to play. And we really want to be that cheerleader to help the fans make a lot of noise when we need them loud, and also to be quiet when we need them quiet in order for our offense to perform.
Yeah, I often wonder about that. I mean, you can make the noise out there, but sometimes I see the quarterbacks going like this. You want to like cool it down a little bit, right?
Yeah, we want it loud on defense and quiet on offense.
There you go. Hey, we got these great monitors behind us. Things are going on here. How many different people make this run? How many? I mean, there's banks and banks and banks of machinery here.
Yeah, we have close to 30 people that sit in this control room during a game, and about another 25 to 30 that are out and around the building. So every position is a specialized seat, and every single person has a very important role to make it all come together as the one show.
So you think about what's going on during the game, but getting ready for the game, like we are months away from it happening, but I walked by editing suites where I saw guys doing so. I saw a player and he was twirling in circles. And so what are all the individual tasks that people are tasked to perform?
Yeah, going into a game, we have a whole production team that's building content, animations. They're loading the equipment in the room, building stat pages. We're looking at storylines and what players may have milestones for a game, preparing all that in advance. The day before every game, we rehearse the entire show. Every piece of entertainment and content is run on the boards in the bowl. We test everything, rehearse everything, and we're ready then for Sunday.
Okay, so the beginning of the season, we're getting ready for that now.
Yeah.
How much preparation goes into that, getting ready for that first game? Is it like game day number one for you guys?
It's an all summer, all off season project.
Yeah?
We're already working on content right now. We have a big shoot with our players coming up later next month. And so we're planning what that's going to look like, what the set design, what we're going to need from our players. We'll get all that content in June. And then the rest of the summer, we're building all the videos and all the animations using a lot of that content.
So how long have you been doing this?
This will be I believe, my 18th season.
18th season. So how has the personality of the team changed, the way you sort of like build that vision for the fan over those 18 years?
And the goal's always been the same. You want it to be a difficult place to play, but we also want to entertain, and we want our fans to come in here and have a good time. We want fans who've never been to a Browns game to walk away with that wow factor.
Yeah.
We want fans that have been here and been at every game to walk away and say they saw something new. So a lot of surprises, a lot of things we try to orchestrate and put together.
So you probably don't throw many interceptions, but do you have fumbles once in a while?
Never.
Go Browns.
Thank you.
Coming up after the break, I'm exploring tunnels under the city. Greg, it's great to see you again.
Good to see you too.
Hey, we're doing a show called Cleveland Behind the Scenes.
Terrific.
So I was thinking, I love this monument. Levi Schofield, right? He put this together?
Yep. Levi T. Schofield, 1894 we're dedicated.
And so it's been here since then.
Yeah, 130 years.
And you walk around here. I come in here once in a while and you look around and you think, I've seen it before, but there's something about this place, stops you in your tracks, and you get back into it, don't
There
you?
is. You know, they lifted this thing up 5 feet off the ground, so you have to come up steps to get up here. And to do that, they had to build tunnels underneath.
So now we're getting to the crux of the story.
That's
because
right.
we're talking about behind the scenes. Now we're talking about going under the scenes.
That's right. I have a key. You want to go see?
Yeah, we're going down under, and I'm not talking about Australia. Let's go check it
Let's
out. All right, look at this. So I step in first?
Sure, come on down, watch your head.
Now you can only do this like one time a year, right?
Once a year we do this, the last weekend in April.
Oh wow, this is for real, isn't it?
It is. You want to watch your head.
Yeah.
These are good Ohio bricks. No matter how many times you hit your head on them, they will not move. We do the work so you don't have to.
That's very funny. So we got the brick here. This looks like this might have been an addition, or was this from original?
This is the reason that the tunnels are here, are these archways. So they wanted to lift this monument up 5 feet, and to do that, they put these archways in, and that holds up this decking above us.
And you can see the strata of stone here too. I mean, this stone is affected from the outside a little bit. You see,
It
you
is.
see some salt and stuff.
Yeah, so as you come through, you're going to see that efflorescence is what it's called. You see a little bit of that salt and things coming through, and we're going to see that deeper into the tunnels for sure.
Okay, so I never knew the tunnels were here. How much tunnel is there? How many feet is this? What's going on?
So it goes all the way around the tunnel, but we don't connect. It goes all the way around the footprint of the monument, but we don't connect anywhere else into the public square. So it's just the substructure of the monument, and it's to hold up this sandstone that's above us, red Medina sandstone. You know where Medina is at?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Medina, New York.
Oh, I didn't know. Got me.
It's Medina, New York red sandstone. It's about 6 to 8 inches thick, depending on where you're at.
So this is so much fun to come down here, and you only do it like 1 week a year.
We do.
In April.
Yeah, just in April. So in the summer, it gets really hot down here. In the winter, really cold. Think about like a Cold Stone Creamery ice cream, where they have the refrigerator and the stone is really cold.
Right.
That's what happens in the winter and in the summer, those extreme temperatures down here. So it's really not meant for people.
So when you get people down here, what do they want to know about it?
So they want to know first why it's here, and that is as the substructure of the monument to hold up the tonnage up above.
Talk about going behind the scenes. This is one of the little secrets of Cleveland that you get to trot out once a year.
It really is, yeah. Once a year, people get to come down. We have a few thousand people that get to come through that weekend. We do some tours from time to time. We'll do private tours for veterans groups, for school groups. We love bringing kids down. We'll bring down school groups that come for tours with their teachers. It's really fantastic. Homeschool groups, we love them as well.
Soldiers and Sailors Monument. And to get out, here's the sign.
You follow the blue arrows all
We're
the
going to
way
go
out.
up. Great, man. Thanks.
Thanks.
You know I'm gonna love this one. We're going behind the scenes with the animals at our Cleveland Metro Park Zoo. We are at the Nature Innovation Station here, where you can come and see them for yourself, but we're showing you how you can get up close and personal with two very adorable and big friends. Let's go. All right, I told you I had some friends to show you, but this is one of them, that's for sure. This is Ellis, he's an education specialist here at the zoo. This is the main attraction though. I shouldn't say little Benji, he's pretty big. What kind of rabbit is Benji?
So Benji right here is our Flemish giant rabbit. So believe it or not, Benji is actually only 1.5 years old.
You're a baby still.
Yeah. And
How much does he weigh?
He actually weighs 14 pounds, but Flemish giant rabbits are known to get up to 20 pounds. So they're actually the largest species of rabbit out there.
Now, do you find these in the wild? Where do you see these normally?
So you actually will never find a Flemish giant rabbit in the wild because they are a domesticated species of rabbit.
Now, how can we get that behind the scenes approach and really get up close and personal like this?
Yeah, so Cleveland Metro Park Zoo is offering a variety of programs this summer, both that are open to the public and that are cool, that will get you behind the scenes to see animals just like Benji. So our first program is Career Quest. That is a program that gets you learning about all the different careers here at the zoo, and you get to go three behind the scenes areas. It's around a 3-hour long program, and you also get to meet some of our friends Benji during some of those experiences.
I love that. All right, can I give you a little bite? Want to try nibbling on this? You're so friendly. All right, so we have one more friend to meet, correct?
Yep.
All right, is he bigger or smaller than this guy?
So he's actually a lot bigger than this guy.
A lot bigger?
Yeah, and he has a little prickly as well.
Oh, you know what that is. Okay, when you said that he was bigger, you were definitely right. He's a lot bigger. This is Quilber?
Yeah, this is Quilber, our North American porcupine. So like you just said, there is a smell in here because porcupines will actually give off this musk smell to attract mates and also to protect themselves from other animals that might try to eat them.
I'm personally not attracted to that smell, but I see other animals might be right. And this is really neat because the public can walk as they're going through the zoo and they can see Quilber.
Yeah.
But if you want this behind the scenes approach, there's another program that they can take part in, correct?
Yeah, this is a unique 90-minute program known as Inside Tracks. Inside Tracks allows you to get behind the scenes, learn more about our zoo history, conservation, and animal behavior. You also get to see some training procedures like this, and you get to meet friends like our North American porcupine, Quilber.
So I know that you don't want to pet Quilber like you did Benji, but I see the quills, but then these other exteriors, are these also quills that would do some damage too?
No, so these are actually all surface hairs right here. So Quilber does have some surface hairs, but underneath you'll actually find 30,000 quills. So they have 30,000 quills to protect themselves from any animal, and they're almost like a fish hook to where they're easy to go in but hard to come out.
And that's why you never want to come across one of these guys in the wild, right? But he's very comfortable with humans being around him.
Yeah, Quilber has been with us for 14 years, and he has been a wonderful ambassador animal that we use for all of our behind-the-scenes programs.
Are there any other little tidbits we can learn about Quilber or what porcupines are all about?
Well, would you like to feed Quilber?
Oh, okay, yes. Are you kidding
All
me?
right, well, you can actually get this piece of corn.
Okay.
Quilber loves to be reinforced by some delicious treats. So I'll have you just give this
He's getting
piece
his
of corn in
exercise
right
too,
here.
going up and down. Come here, buddy, Quilber. Come here. Ready? I want him to be able to see you on camera. And he takes it away.
There
He's like,
you
give
go.
me my corn. I love this. This is quite an experience. How can they get involved in behind the scenes action? Do they go online to do it?
Yep, all you have to do is go on our website and you can register right away. That's for Career Quest and also our Inside Tracks programs.
Well, Ellis, keep up the great work on what you guys are doing here.
Thank you.
Quilber, thank you so much for letting us come in and meet you today. Enjoy that corn, okay?
Say bye, Quilber.
Still to come, we're getting a peek inside of the press box at Progressive Field.
Welcome back to New Day Cleveland and our behind the scenes show.
Exploring a bit of history on the harbor, we're taking a tour inside of the William G. Mather steamship.
The steamship William G. Mather, it's a straight deck bulk ore freighter. It was built in 1925. It started out as a freighter, as an ore boat, and now it's a museum serving its second life. This boat was one of many that Cleveland Cliffs owned as part of their shipping fleet. And William G. Mather himself was the president of the Cleveland Cliffs Iron Company back in 1925, which is why it's named after him. And it's also one of the reasons why it wasn't scrapped, because it was named after one of the presidents of the company. The significance of the Mather is that it was one of many ships that sailed the Great Lakes and had a home in Cleveland. It would sail up to Minnesota and Wisconsin to get iron ore to bring back for the steel mills. So it was one of the many ships that helped the economy in the Northeast Ohio region. So today we're looking at part of what we call the hard hat tour. So it's all the areas that have low-hanging pipes and are not super safe for people to go in, but we have guides. Cargo Hold 2 has 600 tons of sand in it. Now, the Mather did not carry sand, it carried iron ore, grain, coal, but in the 90s there was an event that was being put together to have beach volleyball in Cargo Hold 2. We're standing in the engine room. Behind me is the engine that was installed in 1954. The original engine was a coal-powered engine. So in 1954 they switched over to oil, which is why this one is so small. The original engine was much larger. It actually reached all the way up to the ceiling. The pump deck has all of the pumps for the back end of the boat, or the aft. So there's discharge pumps, there's pumps for the fuel oil, for lubrication oil. You can see the propeller shaft, there's pressure gauges, there's sort of shadows of where the old engine used to be. So when people come on board and see the hard hat tour and they see the pump deck and they see the dark hold, they are amazed by the level of engineering that went into building a ship like this. You can really see how the ship is built in these areas. It's built of riveted plate, and you can see all the pipes and how they're perfectly lined up, and everything has a job and everything is very carefully engineered. Learning about a ship like the Mather, you see the importance of the history of engineering and the history of shipping across the Great Lakes. It shows how things have changed, but also how things have stayed the same, because if something isn't broken, you don't fix it. So it shows the evolution of the innovation of the engineering and the shipping process, but also shows the importance of it and the history of it, and why do we still have Great Lakes shipping nowadays. It shows a side of Cleveland that people don't realize. People don't realize that Cleveland was a hub of shipping and steel mills and all that processing and vital components of the economy. I'm just amazed by everything that is on board, and every time I give a tour, I know all this stuff, I know everything about it, but telling people about it is an honor to me, and it's just amazing to see people's reactions. So I'm just super happy to be able to just tell people about this hidden gem.
Tours on the William G. Mather steamship are seasonal, and be sure to check out their hours on their website.
A lot of fun too. Okay, now let's head downtown to Progressive Field, where I got a chance to visit the ballpark, a part fans don't get to see very often. Check this out. Well, Curtis, are you ready to go behind the scenes?
I'm ready. Always ready.
Behind the scenes at Progressive Field, and we are really behind the scenes, and this is the area where Well, folks don't usually get to see this, do they?
No, right now we're in the press box. So from day one of Jacobs Field opening in 1994, this spot has been the area and the home for our media.
Yeah, I always hear the guys ducking the balls, flying into the booths and all that kind of thing.
Right behind home plate.
But this has been going on a long time here. Like we go way back here to 1929, and this is something we don't get to see, but a lot of the broadcasters and press that come here, and they relish this kind of thing, don't they?
It is, and this is the lineage of our broadcasters. Starting back in 1929, a guy by the name of Jack Graney is in the Broadcasters Hall of Fame. You've got names that pop out here.
Jimmy Dudley,
Ken Coleman, Casey's father.
Yeah, both those guys, Channel 8 guys, all the way.
Tom Manning, Herb Score, Mel Allen, the famous Mel Allen, broadcasted games for Cleveland. Mudcat Grant, Rocky Calavito.
And Bob Feller's got a very special booth here with a microphone, doesn't he, looking at the field?
Yes, from day one, April 4th, 1994, he sat in the seat, which we'll show you, and he would come to almost every game sitting up in the press box.
That was his spot.
That was his spot. So when he passed away, we wanted to memorialize that spot and make sure nobody else sat in that location.
As Cleveland baseball goes, you think he was the greatest of all time?
Greatest of all time. Not just in Cleveland. Greatest right-hander.
There you go. I love it. Up here, Tom Hamilton, great guy.
Someday he will be in the Broadcasters Hall of Fame, and all these pictures here to my right are all the broadcasters that are in Cooperstown in the Broadcasting Hall of Fame. So someday Tom's picture and name will be up here on this wall.
I love it. Hey, let's go get a look at the broadcaster press box view. I had no idea that the press box was this big. There's more people here than I've seen at some ball games in the old days.
Yeah, this is the main press box. It's almost 120 people. Pretty full on opening day, full on jewel events like the All-Star Game and certainly postseason. But look at this view. Right behind home plate, and in here seats the PR groups, the official scorers, all the statisticians, home media, visiting writers, all the different radio stringers. This is where they live.
This is the background of the brains of the game.
Yeah, this is it right here.
Okay, so we roll down here. Let's roll down there and see where Hamilton is.
Mossman, you want to sit in Hammy's seat?
Yeah, this would be great.
This is it right here.
I love this guy. His son works at Fox 8.
He does.
Yeah, he's a great kid too.
Bradley Hamilton.
So this is the seat.
Give us a swing and a drive.
Wow, this is great.
Now we're going to head into the visiting TV booth. What's cool here, all the history of, these are all the broadcasters that have broadcasted games from this ballpark since it opened in '94.
That's an amazing wall, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, I like this here. How about behind the scenes? Now you're behind the scenes. We'll learn back in, right? There you go, Curtis. Okay, so who sits here? This looks like the hot spot here.
Valley Sports Great Lakes. This is the home TV booth. So Rick Manning, Matt Underwood sits right here, Rick Manning right here, and again, another great view.
These guys are great too.
They've been doing it a long time.
We're over in Hammy's spot there. We're talking about when the balls come flying in here.
You can see a dent right here.
A big dimple here, huh? I'm getting a big kick out of this. So visiting teams come and they come in here for like the first time or a couple times a year. Is it fun for them to, remember the past?
It is. And I think it's also too, you see them pregame. A lot of times the broadcasters will get here 5 hours before the game and they'll come in and interact with each other and tell stories and get kind of what's happening on with the team leading into the series.
So maybe for our next behind the scenes show, maybe we can go into the dressing room of hot dog, mustard.
That's a whole different world.
Well, thank you for a trip behind the scenes.
Always a pleasure.
This is great. Thank you very much. Coming up after the break, we're taking a deep dive inside the aquarium. Welcome back to New Day Cleveland and our behind the scenes show. Have you ever wondered how they keep all those fish fed at the aquarium?
I actually have, and they let us in on their little secret of keeping those sharks satisfied. Check it out.
My name's Ray Popick. I'm the curator at Greater Cleveland Aquarium, and we're here in our food prep kitchen getting ready to feed the shark exhibit. We're going to start off with some food prep. We got to get all that food ready for them. We're using all restaurant grade seafood. Just like in the wild, the animals are going to get what we call whole prey items, which means we're going to give them head, guts, everything. Across the course of the week with the sharks, we're typically feeding squid, mackerel, and herring. For the smaller fish in here and the stingrays we've got, we're also adding in other items on top of those three. So like today we've got the anchovies, we'll do sardines, we'll do smelt, we'll do capelin. For the stingrays in there, we'll add in mussels, clam, shrimp, scallops. So they're eating real top-notch restaurant quality stuff. With our broadcast feed here for our fish and stingrays, it's about 17 pounds of chopped up seafood. That's gonna get fed out 6 days a week. For the sharks, they're gonna get a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday rotation on feeding, and they're gonna get anywhere from 20 to 35 pounds of food, about 4 pieces of fish per shark. Per week, we're doing probably about 35 to 45 pounds a day, so it's gonna be a couple 100 pounds a week. Just like humans, you take your vitamins every day, our sharks and stingrays both have vitamins as well. And we'll stuff that into the food as we use it. So in the exhibit here for the shark exhibit, we have 3 species of shark, our sand tigers, our sandbars, and our nurse sharks. We've also got 2 species of stingray. The larger population is the cow-nose rays. They're the big kind of diamond-shaped ones that everyone always thinks about with big smiley happy faces. And then we've got some southern rays. They're a bit more of your traditional bottom-dwelling stingray. Then we've got a whole variety of what we call teleos. That's the fancy name for bony fish. So with that, we've got our big schools of jacks. We've got a big school of grunts in there. We've got a bunch of angelfish, a whole wide variety of stuff down there. It's a real broad ecosystem of fish to represent what you'll find along the Atlantic coast. This is a side pool on the shark habitat. This is an area we can use for acclimating new animals, putting animals that need veterinary attention off to the side to be more easily accessed. And it also is our access point for our shark feeding. We've got a platform in the middle of the exhibit that's in the water. It takes a staff of 4 to feed our sharks. Mallory will be doing the feed. She'll be at the point offering the food out to the sharks. Becca's gonna be her safety spotter in the water. Jalen's gonna be weighing each of the pieces of fish and putting some vitamins that we prepped earlier into them as they're going to processed. And Kendall's gonna be doing all the recording with a nice clean set of dry hands. So there is a bit of a patience and waiting game that goes with this. We are working at the shark's speed, not at ours. They will do a lot more of the aiming and work for us. We just kind of have to hold it out in front of them, and they'll target it and take the food from us. Each shark is individually identifiable by different sizes or marking patterns they have, different scars and scrapes, and that's how we keep track of them. They've also got different personality traits individually, and so that particular sandbar there, she tends to be very picky about her approach. She'll make 10, 15 laps around the food, checking it out, before she finally commits. Whereas other ones will just come in like a rocket and take the food without even thinking twice about it. In the wild, sharks are only eating about once a week, once every other week. They're actually really lazy feeders. They're opportunistic, they're waiting for something to catch up that they can get in this easy meal. In the event that they get it, they're happy, they're good, but they don't put out the energy to chase it down all the time. Here at the aquarium, in their habitat here, we're giving them 3 times a week, we're offering them that food. So we always have to make sure we bring down those expectations of what shark feed is. A lot of our guests come here expecting like National Geographic, oh my God, Shark Week type action. It's a very calm, smooth operation, and we want that to be safe for the animals and for our staff. But by offering food 3 days a week, we're keeping the sharks very well fed. They always have plenty of opportunities, and they do learn that the free meal on a stick basically that we're offering them, fish corn dog if you will, is way easier than chasing down one of the neighbors in the exhibit.
Okay, folks, from swimming to sports. So Nicole is sharing what it takes to put on a show with the Cavaliers. Check it out.
The Cleveland Cavaliers
Cavaliers are known for providing some of the best in-game entertainment in all of professional sports, but did you know a ton of planning goes into perfecting the show you see each and every night? Well, from everyone to Cavs, Sir Cece to Moondog, the Cavs Minis, the 2166, the Wine and Goldies, you name it, Chris Kaiser, when you come to Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, you are in for a treat because you guys literally put on a show every night.
Yeah, and it's something we take a lot of pride in. I always call it the ultimate manifestation of our brand. You know, it's all the pieces coming together and who we have in our, you know, what our DNA is to have the highest fan experience you can possibly have.
What's the one moment of the game where you're like, you know what, that was really, really cool? Have you had any of those experiences?
I think it's just looking around in the seats and seeing, I mean, I have 3 young kids, all, you know, 3 under 7 right now, and just seeing people with their kids at the game. It's a great place for families to come together and have, you know, have these experiences they're going to have for the rest of their lives and memories they're going to have for the rest of their lives. I grew up going to games with my parents, and it's just, you know, it's something that I've always valued. But again, there's also just a lot of cool things that are going on in here. You know, I think the pyro going off is always a moment, you know, and Ahmad is about as good as it goes. All of our internet hosts are really good in the NBA. So, you know, I think that helps kind of bring the crowd into the action on the floor and make sure that there's never a dull moment.
So when you come to a game, not only are you going to be able to watch the wine and gold on the court, but you're also going to be entertained from the time you walk through the doors. Katie Zaremba is one of the people behind all of the magic that takes place from the time you walk in until the time you leave. Katie, I feel like it's a show within a show because there are so many different elements taking place throughout each game.
Oh yeah, I mean, we do a ton of preparation game to game, whether it's coordination of the lights, the cameras, the hosts, the entertainment teams, the mascots. There's so many elements. The majority of our group gets in still in the morning, even for a night game. Our first run through is usually for, say, a 7 p.m. game at 12 p.m. So we go through all of the video elements, kind of talk through host hits and entertainment team lighting, just kind of all of those logistics. Go back to our desks, kind of rearrange what needs to be rearranged, re-enter into some game day meetings around 4 p.m. and then it's just boom, boom, boom right up until showtime.
I want to talk specifically about the dance teams because not only do you have the Cavalier dance teams, you have the Wine and Goldies, you also have the 216. They don't dance, but talk about some of those elements that you bring in.
Instead of having the same entertainment teams at every game, we kind of switch it up where there's 2 to 3 different entertainment teams each game. You don't know what to expect. So when you come, it could be the Wine and Goldies and the Cavs dance team, it could be the Scream team and the Cavaliers. So we like that we're kind of switching that entertainment experience up for fans. We usually have 2 to 3 performances per game, and we do our best to really blow those out of the water with the way that we introduce them through our hosts, the way that we light them, the way that we shoot them on camera, what type of camera. So there's a lot of things that go into how we deliver the performance outside of just that performance.
And then for someone who's maybe going to be attending their very first Cavaliers home game, what piece of advice do you have for them?
I'd say if you don't like loud noises, bring some earplugs, but I'd say be in your seat at least 15 minutes, before the game starts, because the intros are something we take a lot of pride in, and this team that we have on the game entertainment side put a lot of work into, and even basketball operations and coaching staff and Kobe Altman, everybody has a say in that because it's that important. It evokes different emotions in them when they come in the building. When they leave here, they feel good. They feel like they number one, they got their money's worth when they come through the door, but also they had an experience they couldn't have had anywhere else, and that emotional connection to the team is something that they'll have for the rest of their lives.
Still to come, we're enjoying our lovely Lake Erie. we're here along the shores of Lake Erie, and we would do this with no one else. We have Captain Rick here, the Goodtime III behind us, and he's such a gentleman. He gave me his jacket today on this
of course.
chilly morning. Thank you for having us down here. This is what you really don't get to see, folks. This is a ship that's been around for how many years now?
Well, our business has been around for 66 years.
That's incredible.
And this vessel is 32.
So it's 32 years old. So
Yep.
you see it looking amazing at all times when you come and take a cruise, but we don't always get to see what it's like to make it happen. And you have done a lot of renovations on this boat.
We have. Since October of 2022, I put about $750,000 into the vessel.
Wow.
My stepmother had a motto, and that was, the boat should want for nothing. And between her and my father, they really set me up for success. And I don't mind spending money on the boat because it's all about the guest and their experience.
And you make it happen every single time they jump on board. So it's not just you, though. There's a team.
Right. I was just gonna say.
Where would we be anywhere without your team, right?
Well,
so I know you want to hit on some key players today.
Oh, yeah.
Starting with...
Yeah, Nick Ravancic is my right-hand man.
Okay.
Gene McElhaney. He and Nick have basically facilitated the entire project over this past winter, and the winter before, for that matter. I will point out that we are constantly, every winter, we're doing something to improve the boat, and that's what it's all about. I also have my captain, Jim Carlin, and my general manager, his name is Chad Reed, and also my welder. He has been very busy this winter doing a lot of repairs. Nothing where the boat would sink.
Well, that's good.
Remember the bottom steel never rusts. It's always the vertical stuff. But we've made a lot of improvements, and Jim is our welder. His company is called Mr. Rust, and they do a great job for us.
And we know that the food is always exceptional here, so you have a great caterer that you work with.
Oh yeah, in fact, Marigold is on board, and they have a few snacks for us. Everyone that comes on the boat this summer is really going to enjoy the food and the entertainment, and of course, our crew, because without them, it doesn't happen.
And you know, that's the thing. If you've been on the Goodtime III before, I can assure you from the moment you're seeing this, you haven't seen it look like it is now.
Right.
And it is beautiful. We're at three different levels that you can use, and you're still doing private.
Oh yeah, we're doing private events. We're doing all sorts of special events and entertainment. We've really kicked it up a notch for entertainment. A bunch of rock and roll bands, which I think, since we're the home of rock and roll and we have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame right next to us, kind of, it goes hand in hand.
So here's the deal. There's a lot of action, as you can see behind us right now. All of the parts and pieces coming together to make this another successful season for you guys.
Yes.
And all I have to say, I guess, is all aboard, everyone, right?
That's right.
All aboard the Goodtime III.
Remember, we're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time.
You got it.
Guess what? That's going to do it for our behind-the-scenes show. We hope you enjoyed getting an inside look at some of the iconic destinations that make up our beautiful city.
So true. There's always so much more to explore, though. So send us those suggestions that you might have on social media, or always, you can email us at newday@fox8.com.
I'm David Moss.
And I'm Natalie Herbeck.
And hope to see you on the next
New Day Cleveland.